everyone doing? I'm Rodney Jackson. This is Temecia Jackson, my wife. And we just want to notify the world of our story and what's going on with the kidnapping of our daughter, Mila Jackson.
Um, Let me start by saying I chose to deliver my baby with Dr. Cheryl via a home birth. Um, as I wanted to be able to tell my birth story and have my birth story the way that I wanted it to be. I wanted to be at home and in comfort with my husband. And so I was able to do that on March 21st. I delivered my baby girl, Mila Jackson, at 5:28 in the morning at home with my husband and my midwife. It was a beautiful birth. She was perfect, 6 pounds, 9 ounces. 3 days later, we decided to take her to a pediatrician just for a newborn checkup. Within that visit, we were told everything is good. She looks great. The only thing is she have jaundice. Jaundice is a very common thing. Many of our family friends and families' children have had jaundice. So we left that visit thinking everything was fine. A couple of hours later, the pediatrician called my phone and wanted us to direct admit Mila into the hospital. We told him that we would get with our midwife, as she's our care provider, and figure out exactly what we wanted to do. Shortly after that, he texted my phone and gave me 3 options for taking care of Mila. We told him thank you and let him know that we would start those care options. Later that night, around 11:30, he texted my phone and said that we are going against what he feel like we should do for our child, and if we do not admit her into the hospital immediately for jaundice, that he was going to call CPS. At 4 a.m., we're asleep. I'm asleep with the baby. My husband is asleep. Police officers are banging at our door with CPS. We let them know they have no jurisdiction and they needed to leave, which they did in that moment. An hour later, they came back with more officers, more CPS workers, a fire truck, and an ambulance, demanding that we hand over Mila, saying that she is now in the care of CPS. We again told them to leave, which eventually they did. The very next day, our midwife reached out to the pediatrician, just letting him know that pretty much he has traumatized us. We were traumatized. We were woken up by police banging at our door at 4 a.m. and 5 a.m. And so after she gave him all the credentials that he was requesting from her, he pretty much said he was going to leave our care in our midwife's hands. And so we lived life. We went to soccer. We did everything that you do on a Saturday and a Sunday. And then that Tuesday, my husband was walking our dog, and Constable is banging at the door. I'm inside with Mila. I call my husband and I let him know there's police outside. He immediately turns around and comes back to the house. He's met by 6 constables pretty much demanding that he let them into our home, and they had a writ. And so my husband said he will not be allowing them to go into the home, but if they have a writ, they can do whatever it is that they need to do. He made sure not to block our front door or anything like that. The constables chose to arrest my husband so that they could take his key and use his key to unlawfully enter my home and come and take my baby from me.
From that point, since then, the way we appear now, we've been foot on the ground, reaching out to anyone.
But I need to say,
I'm sorry.
when they came in and took her from me, I requested that I needed to see the paperwork. And so they insisted, no, give her first, give her first. And so they took her from my arms and they gave me paperwork. When they left, I looked at the paperwork, and the paperwork had another mother's name on it. It was DC CPS versus another mother, which I won't say her name, but it was not my name. And so instantly I felt like they had stolen my baby, as I had had a home birth, and they are trying to say that my baby belonged to this other woman. There was no contact information for me. I did not know where to turn. They had taken my husband from me and then took my daughter from me, and I was left by myself. And so I immediately went to the police station and said that my daughter was stolen and I needed help. The officer found a CPS caseworker's name and number and gave that to me. And from that moment, I was yelling that this is not me. This person who's on this affidavit is not me. Y'all took the wrong baby. Y'all should not have taken my baby. And from there, we have been fighting every day.
We went to state representative office, calling who we can call, trying to get in touch with press, just trying to make as much noise as possible to get our daughter back. We have been ignored by CPS. We've been up there almost every day trying to drop off breast milk, and yeah, just no help on their end at all. We've been treated like criminals, and that's far from the truth. I'm a very big member in the community. I coach kids. Yeah, this is a nightmare that I wouldn't wish on anyone.
And as far as them updating my name, even still, it still says the other mother is the other woman is my child's mother. It also says that that woman's husband is my child's father. I don't know this woman. I've never seen this name before. She's not a friend, not a family member. And we have come to learn that this other mother that's listed has previous CPS cases where her kids were taken from her. And so I feel as if my child was removed so quickly because they have this other mother's name listed on this affidavit, and she have a history with CPS and her children being taken from her husband beating her in front of the kids, and that is not us. And yet my child Mila is attached to this name, and they've removed my child due to the history of another mother who is not myself.
We've had only 2 visits with her. The most recent one yesterday, where we were towards the end of the visit, we were changing her diaper, and come to find out she has irritation on her private areas. We do further investigation and open her up, and she has what seems to be yeast or white substance. I have no idea what it is.
Inside her vagina. And so we immediately bring this to the attention of CPS. They come in, and again, we just feel like criminals and everything because we brought this to their attention. They immediately brought an officer into the room. Like, why are we being treated as if we're doing something bad to our child? Yet in y'all's care, my child now has red bumps on her vagina. She has built up white crust inside her vagina. And so we're wanting to know, what are you going to do? And they're saying, oh, we're going to have the foster parent to take her to the doctor. We're objecting to that because that same foster parent is where this buildup and this irritation occurred. And yet you're sending her back to this same foster family. And we just feel helpless in this situation, as if I don't know what to say.
How has Mila looked to you now? You're getting to see her every now and then, you said. Has the jaundice left?
So let's just hold patience just a second. Let's let the midwife talk, and let's let them finish getting their story out, and then and make sure you say who you are before you start asking the question.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Edinburgh. I have a doctorate in Christian counseling. I'm a licensed professional counselor, and in this instance, I am the licensed midwife by the state of Texas, the certified professional midwife by the state of Texas that have cared for this beautiful family. Unfortunately, they did something that so many people do on a normal basis, and they took their child in for care. And the very system that's designed to heal us is the very system that is destroying us. And I just wish you guys would just let Mila come home. There's nothing they did wrong. This mom came in, she wanted to have a home birth. She successfully did that. And we celebrated that. And it was a joyous occasion. And before she can even bring her baby back in for the first postpartum care, she's letting me know the baby's no longer with her. And that's extremely devastating. Listen, this is so heavy for me. I can't imagine what she's going through. But every day, I tell her to be strong. And every day, she has to find a new strength. This shouldn't be happening. And guess what? It's not just happening to them. But unfortunately, they're the sacrificial lambs. Something has to happen. It has to stop. The attack on families, black families, the attack on black midwifery, the attack on black bodies, the demasculation of our men has to stop. And that's what we're here today. We're demanding that Mila be returned home today. Today. Because yesterday was too late. The day they took her was ridiculous. It was wrong. And what she needs is her mother. Because when she left her mother's home, she was perfect. Perfect. And to have her mom FaceTime me with the pictures that she showed me yesterday is horrific. And to know that this baby is still in my care. Understand that. And to see things that I cannot help her with is devastating. It's devastating to our community. So yeah, today is them. But anybody can be a step from being abused by the CPS system. Anybody. And unfortunately, they are suffering. They are suffering. No one can ever imagine the emotional turmoil. So now I'm talking from a licensed professional counselor standpoint, because eventually that's what I had to become for her while dealing with this pediatrician and trying to help him understand, you're saying your care is for this child. Understand the person that bore this child, carried this child for 9 months, birthed this child into this world, has everything this child needs. And so the source for this child to be safe, to be well, to be warm, to be taken care of, the baby was ripped from that source. And since that baby has been ripped from that source, the baby has not been protected. And I know because we have pictures that is evidence of that. This is not okay. And if anybody thinks that this is okay, legislation, government, state representatives, if anybody thinks that this is okay, there's a problem bigger than this. Listen, Mila needs to come home today. She needs to touch her parents today. Her parents need to hold her today. We don't want to hear wait. We don't want to hear wait, because listen, there is no investigation. There was never an investigation. So there is guilty and then proven innocent. Well, these people aren't guilty. Then there's an injustice being done. Send Mila home today. Today.
I know you all are about to get ready to ask questions. Right? And I just want you to keep something in mind though before you start asking questions. A lot of times we'll kind of start asking questions as, and we want to seem like we are as sensitive as we possibly can be, but the questions will sometimes be accusatory. And so I want you to think before you ask a question today around the idea of accusatory, because absolutely nothing happened last week for these parents to be sitting here today. Absolutely nothing. Now, what did happen is misogyny. What did happen is white patriarchy. That happened. The intentional denial of Dr. Cheryl's ability to birth. That happened. The same thing that happened last week happened after Reconstruction with black granny midwives. That happened. The removal of black people's ability to take care of black people. That happened. But what did not happen, there's absolutely no blame to be sit here today. And so I hope that we can ask questions that will get us closer to bringing this baby home. I hope bringing Mila, because I'm going to give her a name. I'm not going to call her this baby because she's a baby, Mila. I hope that we can ask questions that will make the state of Texas think about the harm that they have historically perpetrated for black families in CPS and in their family court. I hope that we can ask questions that will address that. Yes, I know you all want to talk with them about what's going on, but I want you all to really think about making sure that we're not accusing or asking accusatory things in any kind of way. As it related to, I heard somebody say something about how did the baby look. She wasn't jaundice sick when they seen her the first time, and she wasn't jaundice sick this time, unless it's something that's happened since they've been with her. So that's all. That's all. And I'm sure New Jen is standing with us in the Afia Center. It is our role to make sure that black folk are being protected. That's another reason why it's having here, because we want to make sure that this family will be protected throughout this entire journey until Miley comes home. Thank you all.
We'll open it up for questions.
You can start.
Sure. I'm Kevin Reese with WFA Channel 8, and you didn't want to mention those names, but we have that same document. And you don't have to, but you have no idea who Ms. McCovier is, or a Howard, these other names that are on this document that, you know, it's like they're questioning parentage.
Correct.
We don't know who these people are in this document. Is someone
No
who's
idea who they are. We don't know where the mistake was made, either by the doctor reporting it or by CPS who took the call. We don't know, but we have no affiliation. Like, we do not know who these people are. I'm not named as Mila's mother in that document. He's not named as Mila's father in that document. We received further documentation, so even more details, and he's only named as alleged father. They updated that to add his name as alleged father, but they were not willing to update and add me as the mother. So we do not know who that is, no.
May I also ask, when is the most recent time that you saw it? Is it Mila or Mila?
Mila.
Mila, when's the most recent time you were able to see her, and where are they let loose?
So we saw her yesterday at the 8700 CPS office. And as my husband stated, unfortunately, we did not leave that office feeling like, okay, I have a little bit more energy because I was able to see her. I was able to let her breastfeed from me. We left there with police there because we brought an issue, and we still don't know if she was taken care of. We had to leave our daughter knowing that her vagina was heavily irritated and things were going on down there that was not happening in our care. And for us as parents not to be able to take care of that is hard. So our happy visit of being able to see her was unfortunately tainted with seeing that she's not being taken care of as she would at home.
And to add on that, you know, after discovering, you know, the bacteria on her, I can see the room they have us in. You know, I can see through this glass that we're not supposed to be able to see, and they're filming to see if we're going to have a reaction. It's almost like we're being baited. Like, and it's for me as a father. This is my only daughter. I can't be a girl dad right now. I feel like I have my protection role has been stripped away from me, and no father should have to feel like that.
Any other questions?
Ellie's here with NBC5. You mentioned that the pediatrician texted you, offered those three options. Are you able to share what were they?
Absolutely. So option one was to supplement my breast milk with formula to ensure that she was getting 3 ounces of milk every 2 hours. Option two was phototherapy. And then option three was to share our midwife's contact information so that he could directly speak with her and come up with some plan of treating the jaundice. And so we responded to him and let him know that we were doing 1 and 2, and we shared our midwife's contact information with him. And at some point, not sure what change of heart or who he was speaking with, several hours later into the night, he texts my phone, the very aggressive, take her to the hospital or he's calling CPS.
Were you willing to share the names of that pediatrician?
Absolutely. Dr. Anand Bhatt with Baylor and Scott.
Spell's first name.
How long had he been your doctor or the pediatrician for?
So he was our previous pediatrician. He did not know that I was pregnant with Mila. He did not know that I had birthed Mila. He didn't even see Mila when I went to his office. His nurse practitioner, Heather Brock, saw Mila. And so when he's making all of his statements and everything, it's third party from his nurse practitioner.
Do you know when the next time you'll be able to see your daughter will be?
I have no idea, but I'm hoping that it'll be today.
Today. Today. Just for a little clarity, let's talk a little bit about jaundice, okay? There are 2 types of jaundice. There's pathological jaundice, and then there's physiological jaundice, okay? Pathological jaundice shows up within 24 hours of a baby being born, and that is an emergent situation. Part of her discharge was explaining to her that if your baby shows any signs of jaundice, and those signs are yellowing of eyes, yellowing of skin, yellowing of gums, yellowing of extremities, please reach out to me ASAP and call 911. That's an emergency. Any jaundice after 24 hours, and it is textbook, and it is also utilized by the hospital, is considered physiological jaundice. Physiological jaundice is a normal occurrence. There are several people, if there's any mothers here today, I'm pretty sure your babies, when they were born, had jaundice. And the key to that is to get the bilirubin, which is a byproduct of the red blood cells, to leave the baby's system because the babies cannot digest bilirubin, right? And so what that looks like is it comes out in their eyes and their skin. Well, when it's physiological, normal jaundice, which is what Mila had when she went in, it is a condition in which the mother's body has everything the baby needs, and all the baby has to do is have plenty of pee-pee and poo-poo diapers and be exposed to the sunlight. In this case, I FaceTimed this mother, and she was feeding Mila, and I talked to her for about an hour, and this mama's milk is so good, like literally just to be honest, it is what it is, and our bodies are beautiful. She has milk skeeting out. So Mila breastfed from both breasts at least, let's say 15, 20 minutes. And she birthed her. And then while we're talking, she went right back to the boob because we believe in feeding on demand. And if your baby's looking for it, you give it to them. And so that's exactly what was happening. So Mila, from what I read, it was 2 ounces every 3 hours. But even if we say it's 3 ounces every 2 hours, Mila was getting way more than that. The problem is that the situation here is this. Her body has she's been designed to have everything her baby needs. Very sufficient to give her baby all she needs. So her body produced exactly what Mila needed. Mila got more than 2 or 3 ounces of milk every 2 hours. As a matter of fact, the next day, part of assessment is we FaceTimed again, and this time to see how Mila's eyes and her skin looked, and she was clearing up beautifully. Mom sent me 3 diapers within less than a 24-hour period, 3 blown out poop diapers. So the bilirubin was leaving her body as it would do physiologically. Now, textbook is textbook and life is life, people. If you can't combine those two and make the right decisions, then you mess up and you make decisions like you made to call CPS for physiological jaundice. That is a normal condition. CPS has enough to do out here for kids that are really getting beat.
really being abused. This child was being nurtured. This child was being supported. And this child was being loved. And this child was kidnapped. And Mila needs to be returned home today.
Any more questions? We're gonna give the final call to action or whatever.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
So, final call to action. So, right now our final call to action is we are calling for. Good child. So again, our final call to action today is we're calling for Mila to be returned today. We're calling for the immediate return of Mila to her family. We are calling for this whole suit against her family to be recalled. We also are calling for folks to keep reaching out to CPS and to any other space that you know that can help us get Mila returned. But right now, that's our call to action, is for folks to continue to reach out to CPS.
Introduce yourself.
My name is Kiana Arnold. I'm a full spectrum community doula, and I'm part of the birth justice team here at the Afia Center.
Can you spell out your first and last name, please?
Qiana. Last name is Arnold, Arnold. So we all know these type of things can be catastrophic to you financially. We have a family. First of all, we have a mother that's in her postpartum period. That's really the most vulnerable period for Black women. We know about our high maternal mortality rates. And we know this is the time frame where we're watching them the closest. But we literally have a mother that has not had a chance to sit down and heal. We have a father that can't leave his wife alone because she is so traumatized, and he is equally traumatized. And this is a man that works and sustains his family. This story is not that story that folk are trying to tell. This is a whole different story. This is a family that live in a good community. They have a home where they have access to resources, and because this has happened, this is also limiting them being capable of making those resources. So I want to encourage everyone to, that's another call to action. I want everyone to help support this family financially. We'll be putting some more information up on the Afia Center's website as to what that will look like, how you can help, how you can help support this family financially. And so, yeah, and so that's it.
So real quick, we asking that everybody stand in solidarity with this family and ask CPS to dismiss this case
Right.
today, all right? Yet at the end of the day, one of the biggest, most egregious part of it is when they created the affidavit to remove this child, they used someone else's past CPS history, they used someone else's past
Right.
criminal history, and in that opinion, that means our state government falsified an affidavit and filed it with a court. That's the definition of it, right? Because yet at the end of the day, you have two parents that's sitting here saying their last name is Jackson, all right? And everybody in the media is sitting here reading the affidavit that is filed with the court. You're reading the actual name, you're reading criminal histories, you're reading past CPS cases. That means this document is falsified in the court. And that's the reason why this family says that their daughter is kidnapped, because that's what that means. If this was a situation where there was an investigation on CPS and they would have used the correct name, we know under Texas state law that they wouldn't have been able to remove Mila from the home based on that. But what they did, and whoever did it, even when this baby is returned back, We want a full investigation of this situation and who did it. You know, so at the end of the day, I thank the Affairs Center for all the work that they do. This is, you know, I'm not an expert in this area at all, but I know this level of injustice, and I know what black people have to deal with. You know, we're told how we should be policed in America.
Right.
We're told where we should live in America. We're told what we should eat in America, how many grocery stores we have, and we're told how we can have our health care, like what we can do with our own body. And yet at the end of the day, the Next Generation Action Network stand adamantly against that. And we're proud to stand in solidarity to advocate with this family, with the Affairs Center. And we ask that everybody call the blow their lines up today. Blow that doctor's office lines up today. And to tell them to return this baby home, y'all. We need everybody in our community to do this call to action today. And I want to thank everybody for coming here today. If there's any final questions, you got anything?
No, I just want you all just to be clear about this is a direct violent attack on black women, black bodies, black families, and we know that this is happening. The reason why we are here is because of systems and systemic racism, because we have to keep in mind that a non-black physician decided that this well-capable family could not parent their child, and they took away their bodily autonomy when they took that away from them. And so we want to just keep that lifted up too. This isn't just, you know, just an issue of a family being wrongfully accused or something. This is a violation of their human rights to parent their children. So.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.